Population crisis is one of the challenges bedeviling Africa. Farmers, researchers, and policymakers are up and about finding ways and means of sustaining these populations. Nigeria is one of the largest countries in Africa with a population of over 170 million people. The country is grossly underprovided with essential food components like protein, which is essential for mental and physical development of human potentials. This calls for the need to improve the production systems of livestock here.
Oh, this land of mine, Nigeria, on my mind, born in diversity, blessed.
What is iLINOVA all about? The singular goal is about appropriate science, technology, and innovations for the livestock industry, particularly with a focus on indigenous livestock resources.
The iLINOVA project has been very, very salutary to our department, our faculty, and the university.
Obafemi Awolowo University, situated on the southwest of Nigeria, Ile-Ife, in Osun State, has lit the tunnel.
Since the time the project started, a lot of resources have been provided to the students and to the department and to the faculty.
Farmers, consumers, and traders in the livestock value chains have reasons to smile. The university, through its Animal Sciences Department in the Faculty of Agriculture, has had a series of collaborations on research to provide solutions to the challenges facing livestock production in Nigeria.
The real achievement has to do with institutional capacity building. We have, for example, a lot of support for graduate students research, for which we have documented up to 12 graduate students, mini grants for these students to support their master's and PhD research.
iLINOVA has been contributing to the capacity of many of my colleagues in the department, attending conferences, attending training courses, and so on.
As a staff, I have benefited in terms of infrastructure and travel grants to attend summer schools, conferences, symposiums.
Cases in point are the frequent academic retreats within Nigeria, workshops, summer schools, and conferences in Kenya, fully funded by iLINOVA.
First, stakeholder meeting with the researchers, scholars, and experts in animal sciences, and which also gave me more insight and also motivated me to really pursue the practical animal sciences.
As a matter of fact, in the recognition of the outstanding contribution of Dr. Seni to our teaching and research, the departmental review panel recommended that Dr. Seni should be commended for his outstanding contribution to our teaching and research at the Obafemi Awolowo universities.
And among the impacts that we have seen in iLINOVA made on the farm includes one, the pasture poultry unit, which is a new unit that was just established on the farm.
Students being another key target group for iLINOVA, undergraduate and postgraduate students have all tasted a pie of the program.
We also have impacts in the area of training in artificial insemination for chicken. This was conducted some time ago to train our final year students in the Department of Animal Science on how to carry out AI in chicken.
Postgraduate students did not only benefit from the exchange visits and trainings, but they also obtained many grants to support their research work from the program.
There was this grant, a small grant that was given. A master student of mine did a project working with Fulani ecotype chickens, which are indigenous chickens. And The objective of the research was to find out the optimum energy and protein combinations for them at the early stage of their growth, because we found out that there was a gap in literature from 0 to 12 weeks on the nutrition concerning energy and protein, the best energy and protein.
2 years ago, when we are starting the examination with the support of iLINOVA, about 50 students were trained in the act of insemination here in the cage system. I will have loved to demonstrate the collection of semen from this chicken, but they are young cocks. They've not been trained to do that, but the process is we massage the chicken at the back, then we press. After the massaging, then we press the cloaca to discharge the sperm. But they are young chicks, they have not been trained. We need about 1 week of daily training before they can start producing sperm.
iLINOVA contributed a whole lot of help to this project. A whole lot of help. The money that came from iLINOVA helped with a lot of materials. Most of them are consumables, but a lot of materials to get this project on the way.
When one recalls the challenge of capacity, when you have cages, you have the livestock numbers that are very low for experimentation, you have cages that are, or livestock buildings that are dilapidated. If we now have seed money through the iLINOVA mini grants that help to offset this cost, and we see this as part of the achievements.
Actually, stress palliative, stress drugs exist. Vitamin C, vitamin E, selenium, and others. But the difference in this project is that we are going to use plant materials, spices, exactly, garlic, onion, and ginger. We want to look at how it can be a source of cure, medication for stress, and also at the same time enhance the fertility of the plant. It's also a novel project in this part of the world. Nigeria, spices have not been used to ameliorate the effect of stress and to ensure that the animal fertility will be maintained. So, to the best of our knowledge, our attempt is about the first in Nigeria. All over the world, somewhere else, these plants have been used, but also to just a little extent. So it's a very good thing that iLINOVA come to help us.
I benefited from iLINOVA funding, which assisted in the design of an improvised artificial vagina for rabbits, which I termed CoELIB. CoELIB stands for Ola Improvised Artificial Vagina, and that is what I'm holding in my hand. It is made from very simple laboratory and common materials. The 20 ml syringe, a latex condom, and a 5 ml collection tube, as well as a rubber band. That's all we need to make this artificial vagina. And I'm going to demonstrate how this is made. This can be done by anybody that has access to this. The syringe open had a mark of 12 mil. Collection tube, the cover is also cut open. Condom is removed and unrolled. inserted into the AV body. Cut. At the end, and this is folded backward. And the cut open collection tube is used to cock it. There is a space in between the latex lining, which now forms the lining of the heavy body, and this is where we'll put warm water. So I have warm water ready in the flask. The water should be at about 50 degrees centigrade. This we can readily test.
iLINOVA has been very keen to support expert knowledge on science, technology and innovation programs related to management of indigenous livestock developed to promote innovation.
Lining in between the AV body and the lining. The hand is folded backward. And kept in place with a rubber band. So this has given us the AV body containing the warm water. If you look through, you see the inner part looks like the vagina of a rabbit, and then a labeled bottle that is going to be used for collection can then be attached at the bottom, and this is ready for use.
On the track.
Pastured poultry unit within the university teaching and research farm is another short show that indeed iLINOVA supports expert knowledge on student technology and innovation programs.
I'm a poultry scientist, so I was very interested when Dr. Oseni, the coordinator of iLINOVA, mentioned that iLINOVA could be interested in poultry, because I thought they were only interested in large animals. But with the interest in poultry, then we discussed, and both of us are aware of the book by Joel Salatin on pastured poultry profits. And I said, that's something we would love to do.
What intervention can we make on our local chickens? Yes, some of these chickens, they are raised them on intensive system, mostly they are always on extensive system. But we want to see, what can we do? Let's compare their performance in the three production systems that is very common in Nigeria: the intensive system, the semi-intensive system, and the extensive system. And that's why my research is on modeling the growth curve of Fulani eco-type chicken under three production systems. And the project was designed to last for 20 weeks, when we expected the chicken to have reached their mature weight.
You can see here, this is being sponsored by the iLINOVA projects, from the feed to the equipment, the drinkers, the waterers, and the perimeter here is being sponsored by the iLINOVA projects. And the animals, you can see, they are, as I said earlier, they are laying hens. So you can see the trap nest, and some of them do lay on the floor. And these are shades for protection from adverse weather conditions, sometimes rainfall and ash temperature.
We have both the males and the females. The pasture poultry was designed for the semi-intensive, whereby the chickens have access to little feed. At the same time, they have access to grasses and legumes that are in the pasture.
Sometimes we get inside and we see up to 2 or 3 birds. But then, once you open the nest, the hen that has the egg will always want to take custody of her egg. So it always sits on the egg. And that's how we settle the case of those with two hens under it. But most of the time, it's always one. And once it's one, it's easier to locate which one has the egg. So once we do that, we open it first, then we allow the ones that don't have egg to go. While the one with the egg stays on her egg, because it's her property and she has to take full custody of it. So that's where we mitigate that. And most of the time we see the eggs on the floor. Those we just added as the flock, because part of what we are looking at is we are looking at the production of the flock, as all the hens in here. Then we pick for individual hens, because it could be somehow deceiving to just assume that all the hens are laying. So over the period of first 8 weeks, try to check which ones have laid, which ones have not laid, so that we've picked the eggs with the corresponding tag number. We try to trace those, and the other ones we leave them to continue with the flock. So that's how we do that. Then these eggs don't just stay here. We take them to the lab to check their weight, and also to take the egg weight, the egg height, and the egg shape index, after which we sell the eggs. So it's not just about the research, it's also a means of generating income back to the project to ensure continuity with the iLINOVA project for other students, postgraduates, undergraduates, who also have the intention of continuing with this.
This is a landmark achievement when one considers the fact that all across Europe, cage systems for poultry are being phased out, that livestock improvement, livestock production is going under pasture, under natural sunlight, vegetation, access to the elements. So we see that establishment of that unit as part of the achievement for iLINOVA, and in keeping pace with global developments in this direction.
Value addition is one area the program has emphasized in Nigeria as a way of maximizing income from livestock production. Students and former students from the university have now mastered the business in the livestock sector, thanks to iLINOVA.
Our organization started in 2011, and it's born out of passion to make sure that agricultural products are promoted. And when we started, our plan was to start with our farm center. But we discovered that the greatest challenge the farmers are having, with our research, was a place to sell their product. So that's why we started with, our center here, that we call service center, so that our customers will be accustomed with what we are doing here. I want to thank God for the past 3 years. God has been helping us. Agricultural products, especially the poultry, farm products, people from around the campus and the metropolis, the Ife, are coming to patronize us. And within basically agricultural products like chicken, goat meat, cow meat, turkey, and then we have other products like
fish.
In order to exhibit full authority of success, the program has been felt by smallholder and large-scale farmers all over the country.
Oniliola Rabbit Farm and the university has been working in conjunction together, at least to aid the production of rabbit farming in Nigeria and in Africa as a whole, then to establish a reasonable market for the rabbit we are producing.
This is a place where customers troop in as if it's a marketplace. The students, the lecturers, even people from town, very far places. And why? Because the structure is fascinating, the service is wonderful, and their packaging is uncomparable to what you see in the town.
So then, since then, we've not been regrets with each other. We work together and hand in hand to achieve a reasonable aim, both for them and for us here.
Dr. Hussaini, he has been here on several occasions to egg us on that what we are doing is, appealing to investor environment, and that we should keep on doing this. We are not minding, the challenges that we are facing, but majorly moral support that we have gotten from iLINOVA is impressive.
I feel very positive about the contribution of iLINOVA, and I don't know when it will end, but I hope it can be prolonged, because it's done a great thing for us, and for that we are thankful to all the sponsors.
And it's been quite an interesting project, that because it involves everybody, it has allowed a lot of networking with other scientists from other regions, especially from Ghana, from Kenya.
None of these achievements could have been realized in any way without the funding support provided by the European Union. For this, we are grateful as an institution.
The project has contributed greatly, even to our teaching and research, in terms of establishing new units on the teaching and research farm, such as pastured poultry, the new breeding unit. There's also the dairy unit that was established, and also there's this maggot house that is newly being constructed.
Above all, I would like to say that iLINOVA has impacted the farm in the area of capacity building. It has led to better and improved facilities on our farm, as well as increase in the number of students that have been capacitated or that have been trained.
With financial assistance from the European Union, co-financed in the ACP EU cooperation in science and technology too, under the ACP group of states, iLINOVA program has changed the lives of Nigerian farmers, traders and consumers who are keen on quality products with informed decisions.
Egerton is a home for us each time we come visiting, and I'm sure that Obafemi Awolowo University is also a home to our colleagues who come from East Africa and from Southern Africa too. We have become one big family. We have really come to learn a lot from each other. We have the young people who do the media capture, who do all the video coverage. Again, these are monumental efforts. People who provide hospitality when we travel and go the extra mile, including the drivers who have to wait at the airport. So we are really, really very appreciative for all this.